My husband was like, we made a huge mistake. We need to sell this. This is just going to be completely draining to us, until he saw the accommodation fee number. Our first full month of being an Airbnb owner out of state is officially done. And let me just tell you, I feel like we got primed in pretty well for month one. Going into July, I was very excited. I'm like, okay, first big month. We have 4th of July booking. That's like a really good booking to get. Holiday pricing is great. Let's roll. Let's see what we can do. And we don't have a mortgage payment yet. Our first one is August 1st. So I'm like, we have this 1 month to bring in as much income as we can, try to limit the expenses, especially without a mortgage. And I was like so excited, setting us up, because we've been told that historically the slowest months are going to be September and January. I'm guessing that's September because everyone's done with their summer vacations and they're going back to school and back to work, and they're saving up their days because they're going to be traveling for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So September's kind of slow, and then January, I think it's the same thing. Everyone just took off a bunch of work for the holidays, and it's not quite spring break yet, so everyone's back at work, back at school for January. So I'm like, we have this 1 month to save up. Let's knock it out the park. How big can we build this bank account in this 1 month? Because we'll never get a month again without a mortgage until like 20 years later if we pay off the mortgage. So let's see what happened. So the second renter that we had during the month of July, we get a message from, well, they sent it to the previous owner who's managing for us, who is including us in all of this so that he can train us for what to do in January. Sends a message through Airbnb that there is a leak on one of the beams in the house. Again, I've never been there before. We bought this house sight unseen. So I'm like looking at the listing pictures, looking at the walkthrough pictures, trying to figure out where this leak is. And the previous owner has someone that he knows that like is handyman that can go out and look at it. They go look at it. They determine that there's a window that kind of needs to be recaulked. So they recaulked the window. Not a huge deal, but not a super smooth way to start off the month of July when we're just trying to see how smooth rolling it can be. The next renter that checks in tells the previous owner that, I'll show you, says that the refrigerator is making a weird smell and that there is a 1x1 spot in the carpet that is wet in the basement that they cannot figure out where it's coming from, but that the carpet's getting mushy. Awesome. Love that. That's on a Sunday. It seemed like for the whole month of July, it was either Saturday or Sunday check-in, check-outs, which make it so hard to get someone in there if you need to do work or access the property, because most people don't really want to work on Saturdays and Sundays except for at a very high price. So we find someone to go out there to take a look at it, and you guys, this is what our report came back with after the guy went out to look at it. When I arrived at the cabin, the guest said there was no longer a burning smell with the refrigerator. I did check it out, and there was nothing wrong with it. The guest then showed me the wet spot right at the edge of the carpet inside the door. There is nowhere in this area that water to come through, except for their cooler that they had sitting right by the spot that was leaking. Are you kidding me? How did they not notice that they had a cooler right next to it full of ice that was leaking water onto the spot? Is that normal? Is that normal? Stuff like that? Again, didn't turn out to be a big deal, but you still have to like make sure you're keeping your guests happy and send someone out there and work in between them. Okay, I'm having someone come out at this time. Just so you know, I don't want to disrupt you, but I need to address the issues. And it's their cooler that's leaking and they don't know where the water's coming from. They're very nice about it though. So those same renters who check out on Saturday message on Saturday morning saying, hey, by the way, the refrigerator doesn't work at all. Not their fault. It was making a weird smell a few days ago, but the handyman couldn't find anything wrong. So, okay, refrigerator doesn't work. But now it's Saturday. They're checking out, and we have a new guest checking in on Sunday at 4 o'clock. We have to have a refrigerator there for them. I mean, that's very basic minimum requirement for renting a house is a working refrigerator. So Saturday morning, we're like on the phone calling people like, oh, do you have refrigerators? Well, what size is it? We have no idea what size it is. We've never been there. We've never actually seen it. We don't have any measurements for all the appliances. I guess if you're ever doing this, that would be one thing that I would definitely recommend, is to get all the measurements for all of the appliances or anything that could go wrong, so that you can then fix it or replace it when needed without having to go up there and measure. We're like looking at listing photos from where we bought it, and we're sitting there trying to like count the tiles. Like, okay, if that's an 18-inch tile, it would be about this big, but they're at an angle, so it's kind of hard to tell. And as you can see from this picture, there is not room for error. Like, there's a header on top of it and like cabinets on both sides, so you can't be too big and you don't want to be too small. So we're just like, how are we going to do this? And we have literally 24 hours before the next guest check-in. What do we do? Luckily, I'm like sitting there like going through every document I have trying to find, do we have any idea what this refrigerator is, what size it is? And I go back to the receipt and the invoice from the guy that had looked at it the previous week, and he thankfully had taken a picture of the model number. Now check this out. It's extremely hard to read. So me and my husband are sitting there like zooming in, trying to decode it. Okay, we can kind of figure out what that letter is. So we kind of just like Googled that, what we could make out of the model number, and we're kind of able to figure out what size it was. So we're like, okay, we know it's a top, we know, kind of figure it out. We call the local appliance place that does deliveries, and we say, hey, we need a fridge of this size. Is there any way you can deliver it today or tomorrow? And they say, oh, sorry, we're so booked up on delivery. It would be August 11th before we could deliver it. And they said, unless you have a handyman that could come pick it up and then take it. It's like 2 flights of stairs, like steep stairs up to get up to where the refrigerator is to get to the kitchen. And we definitely need someone who can haul the broken one off also. So I don't think a handyman would be able to get it up all those stairs by themselves and carry the old one down. Like, that would be a huge ask of someone. Imagine this. Lowe's. We call Lowe's. They have the exact size that we need in stock, the right color too, and they can offer same day or next day delivery, and they haul away the old. I would have thought Lowe's would be like the most expensive of the expensive and couldn't do same day, but I mean, they came through and saved the day for us. So shout out to Lowe's. So they were there within a couple hours with a refrigerator, and I think it was like $100 for delivery and haul away total. I mean, it was very impressive, and somehow we were able to get it done by the next renters checking in. It was shocking. It was wild. We had to pay someone to come out for the window leak. We had to pay the handyman to go out and look at the refrigerator and look at the person's cooler spill. And then we had to get a new refrigerator. So those were our fun little extra expenses that we got to have for the month of July. And it just seemed like every week there was some sort of like, oh no, we have to figure this out because we don't want, I mean, the guests are paying a lot of money for this, and we want them to have a good experience, and we don't want to have something like a not working refrigerator. So the guests that did like notify us that the fridge wasn't working, we gave them $300 of a refund. We were trying to like kind of be like, oh, take yourself out to dinner. Like, let us buy you dinner since you weren't able to keep your dinner in the refrigerator. I don't know. What do you guys do? Like, if you have a guest that has an issue with something or runs into a little inconvenience problem, what do you typically do? Do you get them a gift card somewhere? Do you buy them tickets to somewhere local to try to keep them happy? Do you refund them? If you refund them something, how much of a refund should be valued at an inconvenience like that? They did say that they did not even notice that the fridge wasn't working until Saturday morning when they were packing up their food. They went to open the refrigerator and it was warm, I guess. So it's not like it messed them up throughout the week, I guess. So I don't know. What do you guys do? I would love to hear in the comments how you address those kinds of situations and what kind of refund is appropriate. My husband was like super annoyed as to like every week I'm like, oh, we got to do this. Oh no, this person just called with this. Oh no. And he was just like, we made a huge mistake. We need to sell this. This is just going to be completely draining to us. Did we just buy something that had so much deferred maintenance and hasn't been cared for that we're just going to be out the wazoo every month with expense after expense after expense to just make up for all the things in the past that weren't taken care of? Until he saw the accommodation fee number, then he was a little bit happier. Again, I'm just trying to get through all this maintenance stuff that we have to get through, and hopefully starting in January, once we're not paying the 20% and all the repairs are taken care of, I'm just hoping that it can be smooth sailing. Now let's get into the July money. Everyone wants to hear about the money side. The recurring expenses, we had no mortgage still. That starts August 1st. Super thankful for that. The electric was $450 and the water was $55. Pest control was $55. Hulu was $106 and Xfinity is $123. There were 5 bookings that kind of were collected during July, but not all of them started and ended in July. Some started in June and some ended in August. So we had 4 cleanings for the month. So we had the inspector times 4 at $140 total. The trash fee, there was one guest that had extra trash, so there was an extra trash fee in there. Those are $20 each. We did not have to fill up the propane, and we did launder the comforter, so that was $20. Not including the cleaning fee, the inspector, trash fee, laundered comforter, that's $260. And then the normal recurring things, electric, water, Hulu, Xfinity, pest control, $769. So our total normal expenses was $1,029. So again, I'm assuming on a month that has a mortgage that $6,000 is what we're going to pay. We're going to be looking at right about $7,000 as our normal cost if there's nothing extra or no other maintenance. Revenue for the month of July in the accommodation fee, $18,441. We made $18,000. $18,000 this month. I was very shocked, very impressed by that number. I'm very happy to see that. The cleaning fees, 4 of those, $1,300. Again, I wish people wouldn't like advertise like, oh, I made, $150,000 on this Airbnb, but they're including cleaning fees. I mean, sometimes the cleaning fees can add up to like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in a year. So I feel like that's kind of like sneaky verbiage. So again, I just wish it was not included in so minus the $1,300 of cleaning, our total that we brought in, I think the true number would be $17,141. Remember, we're paying the previous owner 20% to continue to manage all the bookings through January 1st. So his 20% cut of July was $3,429. So again, I'm thankful for this time that we have him to learn from, to like help teach us how to deal with all these little things that pop up and what to do and how to handle the guests and how to keep them happy and how to keep a 5-star or close to 5-star listing. But it will also be very nice when that $3,500 goes in our pocket. But again, I'm thankful for the time that we have for him to teach us. So $13,712 minus the $1,029 of expenses. Our profit, quote unquote, was $12,683.80. I feel like that's pretty good, and I was very excited for that to come into the bank account because we still have some big ticket items that we need to do on the maintenance side to get it really where it needs to be. The biggest item is the roof. Since we were told that September and January were the slowest months booking wise, we scheduled the roof to go on in September. There's a week that we're going up there. We'll get to see it for the first time while they're putting a new roof on it, because we're not going to put renters in there anyways when we're putting a new roof on. So we'll make a little vacation of it and get to see it for the first time. So we had to put down a deposit for that to save our spot for September. So it was supposed to be 50% deposit, so $5,875 is the deposit. But the final bill could be more depending on how much wood they have to take off that's under the shingles. We're hoping that that's all that the final bill is for, but it could be more depending on how much wood has to be replaced. It was $65 for the guy to look at the refrigerator and the leak. Shockingly, only $800 for the new refrigerator, delivered, installed, and old one hauled away. I feel like that was a swinging deal. Again, shout out to Lowe's because that was pretty awesome. So all the things that came out of the bank account as extras was $7,040. Total that came in, total that came out of the other things left over in the account at the end of the month of July was $5,643. Our first mortgage payment will be August 1st. We did have some buffer in the account, so it's not like there's only $5,000 in the account, but we left some buffer in. Whenever we got the $15,000 back at closing, that's kind of what was our starting account to work from that we've been paying for all the maintenance and repair items from. We'll make our mortgage payment August 1st, and then we will go from there. We're just people learning as we go. We're making mistakes, and we'll figure it out. So I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Leave a comment. How do you navigate trying to keep a guest happy if they run into some sort of inconvenience, like a window leak or a broken refrigerator? Like what do you guys do to keep them happy? And what's an appropriate refund, if any? How do you decide how much to give them?